Sweet or creepy? That is a reaction to Meghan Markle's latest Instagram reel where she shows her family going to a empty pumpkin patch because of course you cannot have the peasants interacting with the royals. We have a lot of, I would say, stilted and awkward moments between the family, clearly showing that I think a lot of this is just for cameras. The popping up of apparently Uncle Marcus Anderson, who seemingly is there all the time now. Megan's mom, Doria, also makes a return, and we have parents and adults carving pumpkins, not children. And Harry's very dismal attempt to carve a pumpkin as well. The most uninspired pumpkin you could possibly ever imagine. So, we are going to go over Meghan Markle's latest attempt to, I think, portray a family dynamic that I don't know exists all that much in reality. So again, we are going to get into all of this, but if you guys haven't been to Royal News Network before, my name is Brittany. I do provide compelling royal commentary. So please hit that subscribe button. I would absolutely love to have you back. And tomorrow, that is October 28th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will have our latest edition of the Crown Report where we go over all the other royal news. So this obviously a lot about Andrew and everything going on with him. I actually have another video that I filmed last week that I need to share about Andrew and Charles' really make it or break it moment. But we also have some other royal news to cover as well. The Princess of Asturias Awards over there in Spain. So if you guys want to check that out, I will go ahead and post, let's say, a link to that future live stream if you want to kind of bookmark it to check it out later. We would love to have you join us. So I was going to go ahead and post another video, but I really thought there's a lot to go over with this Halloween reel. And it just goes to show, I think, the danger sort of social media influencing in some ways, that you are sometimes creating scenarios that don't really exist and creating things just for content. And it comes across as incredibly fake. And you definitely feel it here in this video of Megan's, because she's desperate, I think, to try to figure out how to make the Instagram thing work. And it's not working for her. Her growth is like cratered to nothing. She's been stuck at 4.2 million for quite a while now. And she's not really developing and growing an audience. And we seemingly have in this video, even though, of course, the kids, I'm sure, are told to do things at specific moments, we definitely very much have a feeling, at least for me, of a family that's very disconnected and very, very disjointed. So let's go ahead and check out the video here. And the first thing you'll notice is that there is nobody else in this video. The reason is they either went very early in the morning, which is not that fun, or they like reserved the entire pumpkin patch for themselves. And I just feel really, really sorry for their kids that they don't have the opportunity to seemingly really interact with everyone. But again, this is all part of the facade. This is all part of the social media game, which is why people don't like influencers as much as they used to, because we know all of this is fake. So they're in a pumpkin patch. Oh, look, we have a scarecrow, a tractor, the poor person who ever had to get there at like 6 a.m. to fulfill the desires of Harry and Meghan at here. So then we next have following Archie through a corn maze. And what do you want to bet? Meghan Markle went, "Hey, honey, go ahead, run through the corn maze. I need to get the back of your head for this video." If it was naturally and they just went to the pumpkin patch and there were a bunch of people around and Meghan got a couple things, I would get that. But to reserve the entire pumpkin patch, because they're too special to interact with the peasants. And a lot of Hollywood people, mainstream, very wealthy, famous people, go to a normal pumpkin patch without like the artifice of a ton of security and having to shut it down and everything. Like, Harry and Meghan just look a bit ridiculous, but also it just looks so incredibly fake. This is a stage. This is a set. This is a set to get and create and sort of sell the perfect family image. And that's why I think these kind of things fail really miserably. Catherine and William go out and interact with the public a lot. They have security, of course. But you know what? When you go out and act like normal people, nobody really cares who you are in a lot of ways. It's when you're kind of acting and needing the validation of being, let's say, royal, that you tend to run into some problems. And obviously, people want to talk about the hair or whatever. I just don't really have any desire to criticize and talk about the kids. But obviously, Meghan Markle has recessive genes, so does Harry. So they created the kids. They may have been able to select specific things from an embryo. That might have been like a possibility if they had used IVF, which I think they probably definitely did for Lily. I don't know about Archie. But beyond that, guys, I have no interest in discussing the kids. And the reason is they are children. I feel like the obsession with nitpicking everything about the kids is ridiculous. Now, does Meghan Markle use filters to sometimes make Archie's hair look more red? Yes, I've been on that train for a long time. Is it more auburn? Yeah, will probably turn more brown later in life, probably. I don't know, but not worth really discussing. So we're following him around. And for some reason, this to me just seems really, really like downtrodden. Harry looks downtrodden here. Meghan doesn't look all that connected. It's just, if they're meaning to create a happy family scenario, I don't really think they succeeded. And it was like so quick. Obviously, you guys can see I started and stopped, and I was hoping to get maybe another angle of it. But that bit is so incredibly fast. It's there and gone in an instant. It's like she knew that picture was bad because it was. And then we have this picture here. And again, it's just like, it just feels so fake, so artifice. And of course, they have like a puffer jacket on, jeans, guys. If you've never lived in California, guys, they bring out the parkas when it's 60. Okay. These people live in a pretty comfortable, high temperature place. When the temperatures get low, I have lived in Southern California. People just do different things. If you're near the coast, it's cooler. It is actually cool, pretty cool in the mornings, guys. And as well, just to let you know, if you don't know, people in California tend not to drive in rain. It's a weird place. So just stop it with all the conspiracy theories about the outfit. It's probably actually fairly cool. They're probably there super early in the morning. It's probably fairly cold. So, and then we have Lily picking out a white pumpkin. Again, without anybody else being here, it looks super odd. It just looks very disconnected. And I think it kind of, once again, reemphasizes the fact that they're disconnected and they don't have any interaction with the outside world, and that these kids seemingly have no friends. Now, granted, again, I don't think parents want their kids to be on Meghan Markle's Instagram, but at the same time, again, this feels very closeted, very like everybody is staying by themselves. It's really weird. And so we have sort of like, where's Lily in this scenario? Probably with the nanny. And so they're having, I guess, Archie pick it out. And again, this feels just really weird. And again, I come back to the fact that, and just creepy. And without other people, again, this is all artifice. So without the other people being at a normal time, you already have the artificial aspect of this interaction of them doing everything without anybody else. And then this is super weird. So we have Meghan and Harry holding hands. And you almost get the sense that, and again, we could be reading too much into it, but they're inviting us to. I feel like Harry's looking more over that way. Meghan's looking kind of maybe towards Archie a little bit. And this just feels so incredibly staged. Why aren't you guys out there helping him find his pumpkin? Why are you two standing there holding hands like nincompoops? It's just weird. It just feels very weird. And I feel the chasm in between them here. I would like, honestly, they sell it better without holding hands. They sell it better with her out there in the field. Like, why aren't they? Maybe Lily is over there. I don't know. Why aren't they interacting with Lily? Again, Harry and Meghan, and obviously we're overreading too much into this, guys. Of course we are, to a certain extent. But this is the type of thing where you kind of invite this level of scrutiny. And because you invite this level of scrutiny, you, I think, inevitably get people asking questions you don't really want them to be asking. This is the challenge of Instagram, which is why it's smart that Catherine and William don't show too much. There is a wisdom in not showing too much because you don't have then people questioning your relationship in this way. And again, I've always said the overly touchy-feely displays of PDA, once you stop doing that, people are wondering what's going on. And they're too far away from the honeymoon period to be like this lovey-dovey unless it's sort of demanded. And we've seen other instances where they don't really do it. when their camera's not on them, because they know the camera's on them. That's the thing. They have somebody there whose sole job is to get videos for Meghan Markle's Instagram. Like, how weird is that? And so then things get even stranger because Marcus Anderson, Meghan Markle's friend, who is gay, is somehow all of a sudden Uncle Marcus, like doing pumpkin carving with them. My question is why? Why is Marcus doing pumpkin carving as if he's Uncle Marcus? It's starting to get a little weird because he's been with them so much recently. It's like, is he attached at the hip? Nancy Sidley of the Sidley twins said that he might be living with them. And I'm like, actually, honestly, I'm not surprised. And the more I see him, the more I think, okay, there seems to be three people in this relationship now: Harry, Meghan, and Marcus. And is Marcus in this particular situation? Is he there because he's the only way the two of them can interact with each other is if Marcus is there as a buffer? Do things go easier if Marcus is there? It's a weird question, but it's one I definitely have. And then Archie is coming in. Now, my question is, Marcus is clearly an adult carving the pumpkin. Why isn't Archie carving the pumpkin? Why don't we see any of the kids carving the pumpkin? Because now we see Harry carving a pumpkin. A very boring pumpkin. I have another thought about a video Meghan Markle shared and showed, okay, this is why you guys failed out of Hollywood so badly. And then Mom Doria, too. It's like, well, so do the kids not do any pumpkin carving? Is it just the adults that get to do it? I guess so. I guess it's only the adults, which I find, again, a little creepy. You have two children who are, I'm sure, perfectly capable of carving pumpkins. And if the whole point is for the kids to have fun, why aren't they carving the pumpkins? If you don't really want to show the kids, why even show the kids at all? And you just carve pumpkins. Like, Meghan Markle's whole Instagram thing is just not working. And again, we see this reflected in this number here. So I hovered over this the other day. So she's maybe gained about like 10,000 from the last time I looked, but this thing is really, really slow growing, guys. This is really slow growing, which I'm sure Meghan Markle is sort of devastated by in a lot of ways because she wanted a huge Instagram following and it's just not happening. I mean, she can't even hit the numbers Sussex Royal had back in the day. And that's because she's not that interesting. And the things she thinks that are interesting, I'm sorry, come across as artificial. But let's show a really funny thing. So this is Prince Harry carving a pumpkin. And I remember watching this and I remember thinking, okay, Meghan, so yeah, your husband's mediocre. Glad you could confirm that for us. And I don't say that to be mean, but Meghan dragged Harry across an ocean and a continent to start a career in something he's clearly unsuited for. And I have a whole video I'll do because, guys, there's a lot of really interesting things happening in Hollywood right now. I don't know if you're aware, but actually this weekend, the number one movie at the box office was an anime film. And I find that really interesting because what we've watched, and I've been somebody who's watched Hollywood for a long time, which is the falling and collapsing of the industry. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry tied themselves to a massively failing industry, which will probably go into strike next year with the Writers Guild. They don't have a script for Meet Me at the Lake yet. And obviously, neither one of them are creative people. So in an industry that's already really, really failing, having a guy who carves the most basic pumpkin ever, like, look at this. This is the most basic pumpkin thing ever, is really, really unimpressive. And I was like, well, no wonder you guys failed out of Hollywood. This is the best you could do. And I can't help but wonder as well. And again, this is just my thoughts, so you'll have to excuse me. But I couldn't help but think, like, do the parents have to carve the pumpkins because Meghan didn't want the kids carving weird pumpkins? And again, this is the most basic pumpkin ever. And obviously, you can put a light in there. Some people, I think, probably have light things that they can put in there, something special. So people have been criticizing her for that, but I think that's fairly common as well. But I mean, look at this pumpkin, guys. Seriously, anybody could carve. Sorry, I keep waiting for Harry's hands to be out of the way. Look at that. Look at that. That is the most boring pumpkin. Guys, I did a pumpkin carving with my small group recently, and we had a lot of people who were very, very creative. Infinitely more creative than this dude. This is not a pumpkin to be showing off. And even some people did freehand. I actually did a stencil pumpkin last year, which I plan to do this year. And so I will show you the picture of the pumpkin I carved last year. Now, granted, again, I followed a stencil designed by somebody else. But what is the reality about creativity is that it takes time, it takes intention, it takes effort, which Harry and Meghan clearly don't have. And we can tell this by the pumpkin they think is kind of worthy of sharing. It's a lame pumpkin. Lame pumpkin. So we have Meghan Markle's reel again. So, yeah. Some people, some of the mainstream media kept calling it sweet. Again, I call it a bit creepy. You have this, I think, really overcast day, which sort of looks miserable. They look miserable. It all just screams of misery. And it's something Harry and Meghan, again, definitely did to themselves. Nobody did this to Harry and Meghan but Harry and Meghan. They could have chosen different tracks in life. They could have chosen an entirely different life. But no, they chose one where Meghan's back to being a basic influencer and in an industry that's failing, attaching themselves to an entertainment industry in Hollywood that's also failing. And again, I'll give you guys a lot more details on that in another video, but the future is looking really bleak for Hollywood. Paramount is up for sale, writer strike coming, no, sorry, not Paramount. The WB is up for sale. Paramount might buy it. So we're losing all these legacy studios. The industry is just absolutely tanking. And Harry and Meghan have zero, and I mean zero talent to pull it out of the doldrums. They can barely get anything off the ground. And Netflix, I think Netflix's eye is moving to Asia. Now, again, I'm giving away all that video, but I feel like Harry and Meghan demonstrate why things have not worked out well for them in their chosen career path of life. Neither one of them are particularly talented. There's literally nothing interesting about Meghan Markle's video except for the awkward family moments. And how sad is it that Meghan replaced Prince William, who I think generally is a very nice man? I think he's a great guy. Replaced him, who has great interactions with Zara's children, with Peter's children. Now, we haven't seen him much with Beatrice or Eugenie's children. Beatrice keeps her kids really private. Eugenie has only taken them to a handful of events. So, and they just were never as close. So we don't see that much. But William, I think he was carting around, I want to say Mia Tyndall on his shoulders several years ago with Catherine, or maybe Catherine had one of the Tyndall kids on her shoulders. I think it was Mia though. And it was just so normal and natural. I think he's a great uncle. But Meghan Markle, and I say Meghan Markle in particular because I think she drives so much of this, actively prevents her children's uncle from interacting with them. And I think she does that because William would be a fantastic uncle, and that terrifies Meghan. So she has to replace it with her current gay best friend. And I'm sorry, but I just find that really weird. I'm also wondering, so Marcus, do you not have anywhere else you can be? Are you good with this? Does this go back to Meghan allegedly being an ambassador for Soho House? What is this? It's just super weird. And we do see her mom for a moment, but her mom's not on the all of it just comes across as the real creepy aspect of Halloween. Meghan Markle wants to portray a particular image, but she's trying so hard that it, as ever, looks fake. And it doesn't help when you have a set of an empty pumpkin patch to try to share your family bliss, because part of being a family is interacting with other people. And Meghan Markle does not want to interact with any of the peasants. They are beneath her. It's why she'll make you serve yourself at her house. She's too good to serve others. She's too good to have her kids interact with peasants. And I'm sure a lot of her kids' friendships are based around, oh, how connected is your parent? Can they get me more money from Netflix? Can they get me this? Can they get me that? Do your parents have a free jet? Those are what Meghan looks for in friendships, I'm sure. But that is just my opinion. Let me know yours in the comments below. Do you think this was creepy or sweet? I want to get your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching and for your support, and I shall speak to you again very soon. Bye.